Welcome to my channel. Welcome. My name is Cerise Fairfax. This camera is a little close. All right, guys. Today we're going to talk about solo travelers coming here straight to the Dominican Republic. Let's just get all this set up first. Now, I'm late. I apologize doing this video. I put it off throughout the weekend because I was watching a lot of baseball on the weekend and everything like that. And because I was watching a lot of baseball on the weekend and everything like that. And it was nice to just cool max and relax. But I also was nice to just cool max and relax. But I also been putting the video off a little bit today as well because I'm waiting on a delivery right now and I didn't want to get interrupted, but there's only so much I can hold it off by. And I just want to warn you guys, we're going to get interrupted. So I'm going to have to get up for a wee bit, maybe. But this video, I want it. There's the interruption right there. Good. I won't be interrupted in the middle of it. Hold on one second. Hold on, guys. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Here we go. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about solo travelers because so many people are coming to the Dominican Republic and so many people are coming solo. And this is something that I'm pretty good at because I have been here solo for a very long time. Still got to set all this up. A lot of you guys have been asking me questions about how to come. Let me see. I don't have my glasses on. 1 p.m. Dominican time. Well, it's now 3 p.m. Dominican time. But let me get down to the basis because, guys, there's so many different things that you have to keep in mind when you are traveling alone anywhere around the world. And there is no exception to the rule. You could think that you're going to the safest country in the world and there's just going to be an issue. You can think that you're going to one of the most first nations, one of the places that are not third world, they're first world, and you may run into some issues that you may never run into in a third world country. But this is not a third world. This is a developing country. And we're going to talk about some safety issues today. Now, the reason why I even wanted to talk about this is because a lot more people are contacting me. For those of you who are just finding me for the first time, I want to let you know a few things that I do. Here in the Dominican Republic, I help people to relocate. I help people to find land, find houses, villas, apartments, condos, and businesses. I also help people rent out places, and whether they want to rent it out and live in it, or if they want to rent it out and live somewhere else and put it on Airbnb, that's subleasing it. It's so possible right now in the Dominican Republic to be able to flourish even if you don't live here in the country. So make sure you hit me up on my other videos and also on WhatsApp if you have any questions, because it's important. I want to answer each and every one of your questions. Today I'm a little bit busy. I'm strapped for time, but today is Tuesday, and Tuesday on this channel I always cover real estate, relocation, also travel and tourism. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will talk about almost anything random when it comes to those four topics. But today, I'm going to cover relocation because for the past weeks, I've been covering a lot of real estate and things that are for sale, which are hot. And last 2 weeks, I have been putting up places that are really good prices. This Thursday, I'm going to be putting up a beautiful luxury beachfront property. So please make sure that you check out that video on Thursday. It's going to be a beautiful property. And I just want to do the check in. Can you guys hear me? Oh, let me see. I don't have my glasses on. Still third world. Abramo. Oh, hey, Ramo. Good afternoon, sweetheart. Jody, nice. Look at, I'm like squinting hard. 51 is really coming in. But it's not still a third world country in regards to when you're living here and stuff of that nature and full time. And I've been living here for 4.5 years. And for me, I don't notice much of a difference than downtown Toronto, where I was living just steps from the CN Tower in a beautiful condominium. And the lavish lifestyle that I live here, and with all the products that I could buy in Canada and everything of that nature, I don't notice a difference at all. I do notice a difference in the freedom. So my impression of third world is somewhere that is underdeveloped or undeveloped. And this is a developing country. It's developing every day. I'm talking to you right now on the internet. I have no problem in topping up my internet. I can go today. I just sent somebody to go buy some groceries for me, bought myself some beautiful smoked salmon, and I'm going to be making a romaine lettuce later on with it. Listen, you cannot call this place a third world country unless you're living here and you know about the conveniences that are here to offer. So for those of you who are solo travelers and you're wondering how to get here, I'm going to tell you right now. Just get here the best way you can. Now, there are different areas that you can move into. What most tourists like to do, and which I did myself as well, is you come to the area where the tourists are and you sit where the tourists are. Now, how I did it, I came and I bought a one-way ticket here. And once I got here, I had 1 month inside of an Airbnb. Back in the day when I used to come, some of the Airbnbs were like very inexpensive, and I got myself a studio apartment for $350 American for the month. It was during the first 2 weeks that I realized I was not ready to leave after a month, and I had 2 weeks left to go. So I had met someone, and quite often relationships get together very quickly here. They become very passionate, and it's not unheard of for people to shack up after a short while, so to speak. I don't mean to make it sound so negative, but that's exactly what it is. And so I did that, including myself. I met someone, and he was living in the countryside of Bay Vista at the time. So I moved into the countryside apartment with him, and it was great. I loved it. I didn't really know too much about this place yet, but I did travel here solo, and I felt so comfortable coming here, getting off the plane. I felt safe getting from the airport to Sosua. If you're coming to Sosua or Cabarete, those are really good choices for someone that's single, someone traveling solo. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or if you're a man, or if you've never traveled before in your life, or if you are the seasoned traveler. Of course, there's always the thumb rule. You always have to be careful. Watch out where you're putting your belongings. Watch out who you're talking to and what information you're giving out. But once you are minding your own business, nobody else is going to mind it for you, because there is a level of safety here. There's a level of comfort. A lot of people that come here, they don't even realize that there are three different forms of police, three different levels. There's the national police, and then there's also the police that come around, and of course, undercover police. There's a lot of undercover police in Sosua and Cabarete. A lot of you guys may not notice that. And then, of course, there is the tourist police. There are tourist police, turismo, that are just for tourists coming here. So if you are a person that is coming here solo and you're a little bit nervous, those nervous feelings are so normal, because some people even feel nervous going down the street from their apartment to eat alone inside of a restaurant, right? Much less traveling all the way here to the Dominican Republic. I've been traveling to DR for 7 years. Nice place. Hold on, guys. I got to get my glasses, but let me just keep talking then, and then I'm going to get to your comments. Not everyone wants to hear the comments during the video. So I will say this. If you are coming here for your first time and you just need a few pointers, I would say come here, get off the plane, get to one of the tourist areas, get your feet wet, go around the tourist area. Pedro Clasante is a great place to start, and also Route 5 and Cabarete. They're main roads, straightforward, and a lot of them are loaded with different shops, restaurants, and packed with expats and locals. If you're a solo person and you're here and you're lonely and you're looking for someone and you don't want to be vulnerable to someone coming up to you on the street, then make sure you don't give your phone number out to anyone at first. Get in touch with a vlogger here. All of us that I know here in Sosua, the main ones that I know that have been vlogging for, like 4 years now, like myself, more than 4 years, almost 5 years. You want to contact myself because I can help direct you. You want to contact educate Mr. T. You want to contact Gregory. Those are three main people in Sosua that I know. We live here. We never leave. And well, Gregory does. He leaves and he goes to Brazil sometimes and stuff of that nature. But you can always go to his restaurant and flip flop and talk to any of the girls. So if you are here alone, those are points that you're going to go to, extremes that you're going to go to, you don't want to do. And flip flop isn't getting, like, I'm not being sponsored from Flip Flop to mention the name in this video right now. I'm looking out for you guys because I do know it is a common area and it's a spot that I went to when I first came here and I felt safe. This was before Flip Flop even had their own channel. But speaking of sponsors, I do have to speak quickly about this sponsor right here. This is a thermos and it's digital. And you can just go like this. You can put hot water in it. You can put cold water in it. It comes in different colors. I love it. I put both in it at night. I always like to have a cup of water by my bed. And so I put this, and when I get up in the middle of the night, I drink it and it's still cold. And then also I drink coffee first thing in the morning. And as soon as I wake up in the morning, I make myself a large coffee, and this I can sip throughout the morning. And by the time I'm finished it, from like 7 o'clock in the morning till about 11 o'clock in the morning, yes, it takes me a little while to finish my coffee because I like to sip it. Or I'll make a new pot. This always stays warm. You can get one on www.tomathis.com. Go on there and you'll see different products that are available. Some really cool products that I've already had on my channel before. Water bottles with crystal in it to help iodize your water and so much more. But this here is a great product. Again, it's a thermos and it is awesome. You just rub your hand on the top of it or over the top of it. There we go. All right. That is the sponsor for today. But speaking again about where you want to go when you are a solo person, you want to stay around the expat community, the tourist community, not because it is the safest community. That's not why I'm saying that, because you may not be able to speak Spanish yet or anything, and the tourist area is where you're going to find the highest number of foreign speaking people. So you'll be able to find Italian speakers quite easily, French, German, also Chinese and Mandarin, and also English. Like, you can find almost anybody that you can just tell them in that area, go to any of the bars if you get lost or if you need help with anything, and you can find one of the communities here that speaks your language, because in the bars, again, in the tourist area, it's very multicultural and everyone knows someone. Like, I know someone that if you're Italian and you need help and you don't only speak Italian, I know a couple of places that I can take you to for you to be able to speak French, same thing, German, same thing, Chinese, like Mandarin, same thing. I know off the top of my head where I can take you for you to feel safe and for you to get out the information that you are inquiring about and then receive the information that you need. Because that's exactly what a lot of us trustworthy vloggers do here. And you should have a little bit of a network before you come here. Don't feel shy to reach out. I offer consultations, so do some of the other vloggers. And if it's not a consultation that you want, like maybe you don't want a consultation. Maybe you're like, no, I don't want a consultation. I don't have any questions to ask. I just want to go and see how it is. Still take down our numbers and our email addresses so you can have someone to reach out to. A guy reached out to me from Punta Cana. Now, I don't specialize in Punta Cana right now. I do off and on specialize with it, like speckle amounts when it comes to rentals and land. I do have connections, but I'm not there all the time. So a guy contacted me a few months ago, and he, I believe, is from Germany. And he said to me that he's having a hard go in Punta Cana. There's people taking money from him. They're taking advantage of him. And I said to him, well, I'm sorry, I'm not able to help you. But if you come to Sosua, I can help you no matter what. Like help you get a place, help you find people, help you get settled, take you to areas where you're going to have a good time. And he's like, all right, that is my plan anyway, is what he said to me. Well, I didn't hear back from him until just yesterday. And he messaged me and told me that it's happening to him again. He never did make the trip here to Sosua. He's still in Punta Cana. So, and that was months ago when he first contacted me. So something happened in between those months to make him feel comfortable enough to stay in Punta Cana. And I think what's happening now is he probably had a little bit of woman problems. So he's probably like, I'm hightailing it out. I'm going to Sosua. You know how we tend to lick our wounds when we get upset and we remember that there's something we don't like. In any case, I never met him before, and he messages me and he tells me, this is what he told me. So you guys should do the same thing. You know, even though you've never met any of us vloggers, this is what we do. We're vlogging for you guys, to give you guys information, to talk to you about what's happening, and also to encourage you to come. So why wouldn't you just take a note of our information and let us know when you're coming? Other things that solo travelers should do, aside from getting a network, is also be familiar with yourself, what it is that you would like to do. Are you a beach person? Are you a club person? A casino person? Are you a person that likes to go and look at different tours and, you know, have fun that way? Or are you a person that just works online and you're a homebody, an introvert, and you just need a real good list of people that you can order food from, or even go do some shopping for you? I'm a homebody. I wasn't when I first came here. I was always out every single day. Every day represented something else. But then, you know, and I was always busy. But now I have gotten my business to a point where I have more freedom, and I'm back to being just enjoying my space. I'm an introvert, believe it or not. I'm a Sigma female, and I love my time alone. And so I have a lot of numbers where I can contact different restaurants if I want something to be delivered, or even my grocery shopping. I have my motoconcho, which is motorcycle taxi. I give him a shout. He comes over here. I give him my money and I give him a list of what I need. And he goes out and he buys me some, like what I need. Today, he got me some salmon, smoked salmon and lettuce. And, you know, I tell him, before you buy something, let me see the price first. So he'll video call me from the grocery store and he'll show me the price and he'll show me the different brands. Like sometimes if I order something that I don't know what brand they have there, right? And I don't know what it is exactly. So all I have to do is make sure that when he video calls me, my Spanish is on point. So that's one thing for you too. If you don't speak Spanish, then you may have to risk getting something that is not really what you want, right? Especially if it's like a certain brand. But that's okay, because you can go to the grocery store yourself, take photos of what it is that you like, or go online on Google and take, pull pictures off Google, and you can send those photos to the delivery guy and he will use those photos to shop for you. You see, there's just all ways around it. If you are a person that's just here to work online or just watch TV and just live a simple life, you can have everything that you want here in regards to where. And the main thing is a budget. If you are a solo traveler and you're on a budget, then you really should look at places that you're going to be able to live and not worry about your rent. especially if you work online or if you're on a pension or if you come here with a savings, because it's quite very easy to live on a budget here, but it's just as easy to go over that budget if you are like, you get here and you don't know what resources are available to you, and you end up spending more money than what is in your budget. So that's why you do have to prepare as a single person as well. Now, of course, if you're a couple, you want to prepare for the same thing. If both of you guys are like the blind leading the blind and you really have nowhere, you have nothing else, like nobody to help you, right? You also want to connect with a vlogger too, or anyone else here online. There's a lot of resources, but this video is about solo people. And sometimes when you're in a buddy pack, it's easy, even if you're not prepared, to still have one of you guys to reach out and ask questions, right? Not both of you guys are going to be shy. Maybe both of you guys are shy, but maybe you guys can encourage each other by being together. Sometimes having a partner helps us a little bit more, right? Always the buddy system. But again, when you're a solo traveler and there's no so many more solo travelers coming down, you want to make sure you have everything on point. So again, just to reiterate, you want to make sure that you get in touch with some vloggers. Hey, look, you can WhatsApp me. And even if you don't need a consultation and you just have one question, like you're like, Cerise, I'm traveling alone. This is my phone number. If anything happens to me, I just want to be able to reach out to you when I'm there. Absolutely. I've had people reach out to me when they need police 2 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes my phone is not on ringer. I put it on silent. But if I answer the phone at that time in the morning, because of course you're all around the world watching, you don't know what time it is here necessarily if you're all the way in England or what have you, right? So sometimes my phone will be on when you call, and if you do need help, well, no, if you're here, then you do know what time it is. I had a moment of brilliance. Anyway, if you're here and you need help and I answer the phone, don't worry about bothering me ever. If you ever need assistance, then there are people here to help you. And again, you should be giving people a list. I've had people contact me and they're not even solo travelers. They're like families and they're like, Cerise, you don't know me. I've been watching your videos from time. I'm subscribed to your channel. I just want to send you my WhatsApp information because I want to make sure that if anything happens, someone has it in the country. Not only that, I've had on more than one occasion people contact me and be like, Cerise, I didn't use any of your services. I watch your videos, but I trust you. And I gave my sister, my brother, my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother, whoever, my family member back home, your phone number. So if they cannot get in touch with the person coming here, if a family member cannot get in touch with you while you're here, they will contact me. And then I will try to help to find the people. That's just like a given. That's not even a service. That costs no money at all. You're coming here and you don't have any contacts here and your family does not know how to contact you here or get in touch with you, because not always is the embassy on point with things. Your family should be able to reach out to someone here via WhatsApp, via email, and say, hey, I can't get a hold of my family member. We are like ants underground here, the ones that have been here, especially the people that I've already named. We can just put one ad out. We can put one flash ad out on Facebook, on WhatsApp. We can do it on Instagram and also on WhatsApp groups and spread the person's name, the person's photo that you cannot find, that cannot be found, and we will make sure that we get the information out. I mean, people drown here all the time. They eat, they drink, they go into the ocean, and they're solo travelers or whatever, and they drown, so there's different things. Sometimes they don't have their identification on them. How will their family even know anything if the police don't know how to get in touch with people that are traveling here solo? Also, in addition to that, if there's anything that's out on the news here, I could relay that to the person, that the family member that's concerned. So it is really important to have some type of a network system going on here when you come here. I think it's important to do that anywhere around the world. Before I came here, I did the same thing. Tailor Made Dreams, Russell, when he was living here, now he's in Thailand. We don't know for how long. I have a funny suspicion one day he'll be back. He'll be back here because the Dominican Republic loves him. Um, that's just my prediction. I digress. But I watched YouTube, and I watched Tailor Made Dreams. And so when I came here, I had him and I had Mr. T as well, to be able to connect with if anything was to happen to me when I first came here. And my son, he knew I was watching YouTube videos before I came down here. I had mentioned those two names to him as well, and I told him, if you don't hear anything from me, you can contact them on their YouTube channels and tell them that you're looking for me, because they know who I am. Right? And that's just something that we should all do. It's exercising safety anywhere around the world. If I was going to um, Bermuda right now, I would look at Bermuda vloggers, and I would connect with a couple of Bermuda vloggers. And if they were giving consultations, I would definitely pay for a consultation in order to get all the information that I need. And on top of that, any existing information that they have to give me as well. Because I think it's important to be well informed. Again, not just solo travelers, but anyone. But today the focus is solo travelers. So it's good to be informed as a solo traveler, period. So again, to reiterate, you can tell I'm a little bit busy today, eh? Again, to reiterate, you want to definitely have a network system. You want to make sure that you give our phone numbers out and our email addresses out. When I say our, I mean vloggers here. Give out our information to people and your family, just in case anything happens to you. And also, you want to make sure that you get into the expat area and get to know people that live here. It is so easy. Some of these bars here are designed to make people meet each other. Like, for instance, Smiley's. If you go to Smiley's Bar on Pedro Clisante, one of my advertisers, I love them. I love that bar because people sit around the bar. Some of them aren't even speaking English. Some of them aren't even like most of them don't even speak Spanish. They're expats from all around the world. They're from France, they're from Germany, they're from Italy, they're from Sweden, Holland, just off the top of my head, Canada, America, obviously, and Haiti, and everyone is like, it's like a circular bar, like the bar itself. The bar restaurant area is big, and it has all these tables and everything like that. It has a restaurant area, a stage. There's always live music. So that's great for networking as well. There's karaoke, and then there's some music nights, DJ. You might catch me there some nights dancing and also singing karaoke. I had Noche, my dog, there with me the other night, and last Friday, and it was so fun, or last Thursday. And then there's also the bar itself where they serve the drinks. That is a circular bar. And I can't tell you how many times I have met people just sitting there, even going by myself. Sometimes I like to go there by myself. And if I have a client to talk to on the phone to do a consultation, or, even if I'm doing a video, I will be able to talk on the phone, but then also observe what's going around on the bar. Sometimes you can even hear people talking to each other across the bar, and you can jump into the conversation because they may be talking about politics, they may be talking about current events, something that's on the news here or something on the news around the world. And it's always a really interesting conversation at most of these bars. And so Smiley's, I really like that layout for that reason, because it's easy even for an introverted person that doesn't even really want to talk, to go to the bar and have a couple of drinks and talk to some people. Now, you might be a person that doesn't drink alcohol, and you don't need to drink alcohol in order to go to those bars, especially if you're going during the daytime when the music is very low. At nighttime, at a lot of those bars, the music goes up really high because, it's higher concentration of people. And also usually there's a live band or karaoke or DJ music going on. So it's going to obviously cut into the conversations. But if you go there during the day and you are a person that doesn't really drink, you're not going to meet a lot of drunk people. You can meet a lot of people and you can just have your sparkling water with a nice piece of lime in it. I've done that many times myself, even though I like to have a couple of drinks when I go out. Sometimes I'm just going out for networking. So I will have that sparkling Canada Dry with a nice little splash of lemon juice, or they put a nice lemon in. And you know what? That's a great way to meet people as well. And especially again during the days when the music is down low and you just want a little snack, there are a lot of those bars that people will be in and it's not as crowded. So if you are a person that doesn't want to interrupt conversation, you may see people who are more daytime people, daytime drinkers or daytime socializers, and they don't like the nightlife. And those are the people that you'll meet at the bar, and they will have so much information to talk to you as well. There are so many people here and around Sosua that love to talk. Now, that's all in the tourist area, and I'm encouraging you to come here and do that just so you can get your feet wet and get your feet planted. But while you're here, make sure you come across the beach and come over to my direction as well. I don't live in the tourist area, I live in the residential area, the local area. I live with the Haitians, I live with the Dominicans, and my neighbors are also foreigners as well. Not as many foreigners live here where I live, and I quite like it like that. To be honest with you, I have the best of both worlds here. You know, I go outside and I'm immersed in the culture, the traditions. It's amazing. It's just, I love it. I love it. Just yesterday, I was watching a baseball game on TV, Lycée, and Lycée is one of the teams here. You can kind of compare it to like saying Blue Jays, right? So here I am. I'm watching cable in Spanish, and I'm watching baseball. The same rules apply. I love baseball. Same rules apply, so you can see and still read what's going on the TV. The commentators are saying a few words that I didn't hear before, but it's increasing my Spanish. And I took a look around my living room, and I just said, thank God. Like, my life is amazing. And I have, all of the decisions that I made to come here to be thankful for. You know, of course, you guys, I said to be thankful for, and then the electricity just went out, as you can see. Now, that's another thing about living here in the Dominican Republic. Sometimes the electricity will go out, but the show must still go on because I have data on my phone that I'm using right now. I'm not using my house data right now. So I'm pretty sure there was no interruption except for the light difference. But yeah, I think overall, when you're traveling solo here in the Dominican Republic, you don't even need to speak Spanish. If you are in the tourist area, you may never use your Spanish. Even if you do know how to speak Spanish, you may never use it because there's a lot of restaurants here, especially in the tourist area, where the people who are serving you food also speak English. Now, not all the time, and even if they don't, they will, let's say you go to order food, you can just point and say, "Cuánta cuesta?" How much? "Cuánta cuesta?" And you ask them how much and they'll tell you how much, and or you just hold your phone up and they'll put it in how much you have to give them, right? If you hold up like a calculator and your food comes up to 600 pesos, they'll put 600, and then you give them the 600 pesos. It's very easy. You'll learn to do the money here. If you've never been here before and you're worried about the money exchange, I have videos on my YouTube channel about the money exchange, so make sure you check out those videos as well. But overall, again, my main reason for making this video is to encourage the solo travelers, because it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Like, men are even nervous about being solo travelers. I had this one guy contact me at Halloween time. Brandon, shouts out if you happen to watch this. And he's like, "Cerise, I'm coming alone. I need an apartment and I don't even know where I'm coming to." I said, "Okay, well, Sosua is where you want to come to. What are you coming for?" And he's like, I'm coming for a special Halloween event. And I said, oh, okay. And that's with Gregory. And I said, okay, well, I know Gregory very well, and I know where that spot's at. So you're going to need an apartment walking distance to the restaurant, right? And he's like, that would be really nice. Do you know all that? And I said, absolutely. Like, I know everything, every area in Sosua. Sosua is a small place, and, it's just, it's easy to get around, and also Cabarete. So I got him a place that I could not pick out any better. It was amazing. It's called Europa. I don't know if any of you guys, some of you guys may not know it, but for those of you guys who do know it, you know that that's a really good spot for a solo traveler coming here. There's a bar out front, there's a restaurant inside, there's a concierge in the front. It's 3 stories, it's not very high, and it's also in a high impact expat area and travel people area, tourists. And all he has to do is just walk down the street. Everything was so close. And he was never ever here before. And he was so nervous. And I was like, don't worry about it. I actually respect that quite a lot because you don't know where you're going. And, so he was relying on my senses and he was relying on everything. Well, when he got here, I also provided a driver for him to pick him up at the airport. And once he arrived here, I didn't hear anything from him at all. I was like, I better check on him. So I checked on him and I'm like, how you doing? He's like, really good. And he loved it. He was going back and forth. He found his way around the first day. He met friends and it's unbelievable. There's another guy named Bruce. I've never met him in person yet, but he came here last summer with his son. Shouts out Bruce. And he came with his son, but he was more on his own when he was here because he said, he went out and did things on his own. Then he messaged me about a couple of months ago, and he told me that he wanted a consultation because he's about relocating one day when he retires, which is in probably the next 5 years, I think. So he's a nurse in America, originally from Guyana. Shouts out South America. And then he told me after we did our consultation, I told him, well, if you're thinking about moving here and buying property, what you should do first, instead of buying property, is at least rent out something first. Rent it out and sublease it. And that way he can just rent it out as he's in America. And then he doesn't even need to do anything. I set him up with a woman that can do the check-ins and check-outs for him. It's not a management company. It's just someone that can let his guests in and check his guests out and clean up for him. And my suggestion, let me digress for 1 second. For those of you who already have a property here, or you're thinking about getting a property here, if you're a solo traveler again, or a couple, and you're coming here and you're going to even rent out a house, and then you're going to have a room that you want to put on Airbnb, you can definitely do that. But let's say you want to keep the place because you get a place with really good rent and you want to hold on to it. And when you leave, what you want to do is get yourself a digital doorknob. Someone can check themselves in and check themselves out with the digital doorknob, and you can be around the world anywhere. I keep telling people that you don't need a management company because you can run it all your own on Airbnb. And then you just get a maid to go in there and check on things. And if you have a really good maid, like how I help people get, those maids are, again, like the ant family that we all are here underground and can deliver you some really good resources and services, because that's all it's about, really. Living in Canada, I don't think I'd ever be able to do it again. The conveniences here, the people here, the language here, the love here, the traditions, the cultures, and also the multicultures here are just so amazingly loving. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if I can open up the curtain a little bit and try to get a little bit more light in here. Hold on. I guess that's a little bit more. But the electricity went out. It's been heavily, heavily, heavily raining lately. And, just It's raining, a little bit overcast today as well. I'm looking outside my door, a little overcast as well today. So, yeah, it is what it is. I want to read some of these comments right now. Questions. So, let me get my glasses. There we go. Let me get my glasses so I can read what's happening here. Okay. Okay, let me go down just a little bit. Um, oh, there's some really good questions, things going on here. Okay. O Dog says, I've been traveling to DR for 7 years. Nice people to visit and cheap to travel for a piece of paradise, but a lot of scammers and swindlers trying to milk every penny out of you. Depends on who you talk to. Like, that depends on who you talk to. Anywhere around the world. I don't know where else you've been living or where else you've been, but anywhere around the world, you're going to find swindlers and people doing things. But here in the Dominican Republic, if you come to a place where it's not first world and people don't have a welfare system going on and they're not trying to scam you, like, what they're trying to do is make a buck. And if you're looking, if you're up to something, then and if you're looking for problems, you're going to get problems. I don't know what you would be scammed for. Like, what are you buying a car from someone else? And I mean, if you come here for over 7 years, how often are you getting scammed? What type of person gets scammed so often after coming here for 7 years? Cheers, guys. So, I'm coming here for 7 years and you're still experiencing scams. That just says you have to watch the people who you're around and the choices that you make. Yeah, I'm not saying that there's not scams here. I'm not saying that the place is innocent. I would never ever misrepresent any place like that. But downtown Toronto, where I was born and raised, and then also Scarborough, where I lived for a moment too in Toronto, well, in Ontario, same thing. You got people in America stealing your packages off the doorstep from Amazon packages. I was watching on YouTube the other day. It's like these like doorbell door video. I mean bell videos. I have one on my door where someone rings the bell and they're on the video. Well, I was watching that just for fun the other day, and I'm like, holy smoly, macaroni, stealing packages, Amazon packages, like a big, huge thing in America and Canada. Here, I can keep my package at my front door. Like, there's a real good innocence here happening. And it is like Mayberry. It's like family here. And it is a great place to come and be able to trust again. It's not where you're using cashless society. I'm using cash here. I really enjoy using cash, knowing where my money's going. Before, when I was in Toronto, it was like everything was with my bank card. Everything was so fast. Everything was just so shyster, It's just so different here. I mean, when you get a consultation with me, I'm going to give you the bank manager's number so you can WhatsApp him. Of course, it's his work number, not his personal number, but you can WhatsApp the bank manager of Santa Cruz and say, hey, I'd like to open up a bank account. What information do I need? These are the types of things I love being here, and I don't feel that you get scammed after you know the people that you're with and you know the decisions that you're making, right? And so there is a misconception of that, but it doesn't go on with everyone all the time. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the number one destination in the Caribbean. And not only that, you would be getting more and more videos of people talking about that. The people that have been here from time, you have to connect with them and get networked with people like myself. And like I said, the other vloggers in the beginning of the video, it's important to get networked with people, because once you do, you're not vulnerable. It's people that are vulnerable, people that are not making good decisions, people that surround themselves with other people who are untrustworthy, that get scammed. And so when people tell me that they're getting scammed, I'm not going to go on with this topic much longer because I feel like I'm beating a dead cat. But when people are getting scammed over and over again, it has something to say about them and not whatever's happening. I think so anyway. RA, what is the sponsor's name? www.toma this. The sponsor right here for this is called Toma This, and it is TOMA, which means take in Spanish, and then this in English. Take this. But it's Toma This, and it's a thermos, and you just touch the top, and it tells you what the temperature of your coffee is or what the temperature of your drink is. And I love it because it really does work. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, when I got it, I was like, oh, this works so well for my coffee. I love it. Aramo says, oh, dog, very true. I've been traveling since 2003, almost 20 years, and I only move with them like razor blade. Once I don't, I cut never. Okay, these are, okay. Hold on, these are these two just going back and forth. Okay, those two are just going back and forth. Shane says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Shane. And then Shane Wilson says, I have a question. Are the motorbike taxis safe in Sosua? And what's the cost like to travel around within that area? Very good question. Thank you for asking that. So, motor conchos, motor taxis are my favorite form of transportation. I've gone to Santiago on a moto before, which was like 2.5 hours away. I love motos. It's always good if you are nervous to hold the waist of the motor concho. In regards to safety, I'm going to first talk about safety. Helmet, of course, is important, but here the passenger doesn't have to wear a helmet. It's the driver that has to wear the helmet. Before, when I first got here 4.5 years ago, it was not important at all. Whether who was wearing a helmet, insurance wasn't important. You didn't even have to register your bike. But already 4.5 years later, and this happened 2 years ago, actually, people had to start registering their bikes. Right? Advancements are being made every day. We're a first world, a developing country here, not first world, not third world. So we are developing here. And so most motos, they do need to have their license, and they do need to secure their bike, have insurance for their bike, everything registered. Okay. And if they don't have that, they can get pulled over in the street and their bike taken away from them. And then to go pick up their bike, they have to provide that information. Now, if they don't have a helmet on, the same thing, they can get a ticket or their bike impounded. And usually it's a ticket that they'll get. And it's for usually about 1,000 pesos, $20. Now, if you as a passenger, you don't have a helmet on, then that's fine. There's no rule on that right now. If you do have a helmet on, you're not going to look strange, because I have a helmet lately for the last 1.5 years. I haven't been wearing it. I was on the bike. We call it bike here, motorbike. I've been on the bike very like in it doesn't matter if you're on it for 1 minute or if you're on it for 1 hour or 1 day. Okay, so I'm not trying to say there's a difference, but right now I'm not on it as much as I was before. I spend a lot more time at home, and when I am on it, I'm not taking long trips to Cabarete, Puerto Plata, or long trips to Sabaneta, Gaspar Hernandez. I'm just going from my apartment to El Bate, and even then, it's not a fast ride. It is across a highway, but we're not going really, really fast. So I think I need to get a new helmet. I have a helmet here, but I haven't worn it in like 1.5 years, and some of the foam inside is like falling apart and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So maybe I can just buy new insides for my helmet. How about that? Or just buy a new helmet and feel real good about it. But yes, I would encourage everyone to wear a helmet. And lately I've been thinking about that a lot more. But anyway, that's with safety. When it comes to money, when it comes to paying for a motor concho, it's very important for you to know this. The prices are going up for gas around the world due to the Russian-Ukraine war. And so prices for gas here in the Dominican Republic and propane are going up as well. There's no difference. Now, a lot of cars here run on propane. So a lot of taxis, cars, not motos, taxis run on propane, like gas. So you can also get a cheap ride that way. But all of the bikes here run on the gas, like the propane, and it's very inexpensive for them. But if you are in El Bate itself, okay, I'm going to give you some prices, and this you need to write down if this interests you. If it doesn't interest you, I apologize. I'm going to go on to another question after this or another point. Now, motos within Bate. El Bate, EL space BATEY, is a tourist area. Okay, so when you're coming here and you want to go around that tourist area, you're looking at 50 pesos to go anywhere in Bate. It's mainly just one street and it goes around like a circle. Okay, that's close quarters. So let's say you have an Airbnb from the beach to the Airbnb, you're going to pay that. Nighttime, you're going to pay 100 pesos. The price goes up at night. The gas doesn't go up at night, but the price goes up at night because the motoconcho's risk of his life is increased at nighttime. Also, other little things go on at nighttime as well, right? So, bless you, Noche. Woo, bless you, Noche. So that's, woo, you got 3 going on there. Oh, 4. Noche's my dog. So, yeah, you will pay 100 in the evening and then you pay 50 during the day. Now, if you're in Los Cheramicos, where I live, it's just over the beach area. They say sometimes 50 pesos during the day, but I always pay 100. And then as well at night, I pay 200. I started to pay 200 recently because the prices went up. So it is 200 at nighttime because a lot of the Haitians do a lot of the nighttime motoconcho. And from where I live on Pedro Clisante, and they can get picked up by the police. It's getting kind of rough right now for the Haitians. Right now, a lot of them are hiding, and a lot of them are hanging out just within their, confines. A lot of them, they're afraid to go to work. A lot of them are afraid to go across like to the beach, to do anything that is living. So the ones that are legal, they're doing most of the working and most of the providing, and that's what's happening right now. It is a little uncomfortable for a lot of the Haitians because some of them are here undocumented. And that's where the issue is. They're undocumented. Like that means they snuck across the border and into the country and they have absolutely no identification. And so that's where that's a problem, right? That's a big problem. And then they're here and then they can't go out because if they get captured, they're going to get sent right back to Haiti. And they should be considered a refugee. They should be considered a refugee. And I mean, if they're getting sent back to Haiti, chances are they're getting sent back to die, So it's none of my business, though. I'm not a politician and I can't really speak on that topic. I can one day make a video about it. But if you're looking to send donations to some of the kids here in orphanages, I do have a contact to a friend of mine named Maggie. I had her on my television show. I have a television show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock to 8 p.m. And I had her as my guest a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. And she was talking about her orphanage and stuff of that nature. If you have any questions and you want to donate, if you want to adopt a child, if you want to come here just to kind of see what's going on with the Haitian situation, please let me know. I have a lot of connections to a lot of Haitians that can, embrace you, so to speak. And again, adopt. The reason why I say adopt is because I have a client, I'm a soul coach, and I have a client in Canada who wants to adopt a child. And I suggested to her that she should adopt a Haitian child. She wants to adopt a child from the islands. And I told her, well, adopt a Haitian kid from here. And so she's thinking about that. And so, yeah, safety, you always have to watch out for the safety, and you always have to watch out for the money. Now, one thing I will say when it comes, I'm going to get to the next question there in a second, but I will say on a moto, when you're traveling at nighttime, there's something you should have to watch when it comes to your money. And this has to be about how careful you are with your money. Um, Package your money in a way where you can see the colors properly, especially if you're American. For me, I'm Canadian and we have colorful money. And here, the money is colorful as well. So it's easy for me to decipher. But there have been times when I first got here and it's nighttime and, I have 1,000 pesos and 200 pesos and they're both red hue. Like there's times where I'm handing the 1,000 pesos over instead of the 200 pesos over. And, they've had to tell me, oh, no, you're giving me 1,000, not the 200. So some of them are very, very honest, you know, and just know your prices. Because when it comes to scammers, as one of the people just said, they may try to charge you a little bit more. They're not going to charge you an arm and a leg. Like, it's not evil charging, it's not. So I'm going to give you an example. My neighbor and I, a new friend of mine, her and I, we live in the same building. She lives across from me. We got on 2 different motoconchos. We were going to the same location. Okay, it cost 100 pesos. So we get to the location. It wasn't nighttime, it was daytime. We get to the location and it was Smiley's Bar. I get off my motoconcho and I paid my motoconcho 100 pesos. And I turned around to see her and she paid her motoconcho 500 pesos. And he was giving her 200 pesos back. And, no, or 250 pesos back. Right. And so I said to her, it's 100 pesos. And I looked at him and I ride with him all the time. So I don't know why he would even do that, but I ride with him all the time. And I looked at him and I was like, and he gave her change, not even saying another thing. Right. So just keep in mind that when you are doing motos here, in Bate, it's 50 pesos during the day. That's $1 and $1 American, but give them pesos. Don't give them $1 American because it's not like they're going to get more money. And they don't take Canadian dollars at all, but give them pesos unless it's like $100 or $50 or $20. Those are okay numbers to give to someone because then it's worth their while to go to the bank or to go to Western Union to go cash it. But it's not worth their while to go cash like a $1 bill or I don't know what Americans have, $2 bills. I don't know if you guys have $2 bills or $5 bills. Don't do that. And if you're Canadian, don't give them any toonies or loonies. They've never seen them before. It's not important. If you have $100 Canadian even, they're not going to know what that is. It's either pesos or American money here. And again, if you're going to give someone American money, give them like a big dollar, like a $20, a $50, or $100. Okay? Again, make it worth their while. There was another question here, and it says, is the Chisa Hotel still open? I knew the owner, Mario. May he rest in peace. I don't know what the Chisa is. Chisa, is it? Maybe you spelled it wrong? Chisa? I don't know. I don't know what that is. But and Mario doesn't sound familiar either. I apologize. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to hop on here and talk to you guys about solo traveling, and especially if you're men. Okay, like women, we are really favored here as women. I kind of want to be honest with that. Us women, they look after us very well. No, nobody's really going to bother with a woman like in the streets or whatever, and if you were to get bothered and you go tell a police officer, they're going to handle it like very, very well, so don't worry about that. But it's sometimes the men that get exploited from the women here. So you do want to be careful too. I had a man contact me and he came here alone. and he got himself a nice Airbnb. He was happy with it. He was talking to a girl on the phone before he came here on something like a Tinder app. So then he arrives here. She picked him up at the airport. Um, you know, he didn't contact me before he came, actually. He didn't contact me before he came. He came here all on his own, got his own place. He was talking to this girl for a while. She met him at the airport. He didn't ask me for airport pickup drop off. You see, the benefits of getting me to pick you up at the airport, or rather my driver to pick you up at the airport, is if anything happens to you at all and your family's looking for you and they contact me, my driver can tell me where you went. And I'll also remember where my driver had to take you, because I make a nice WhatsApp group and we say what time your flight's coming in. My guy will pick you up at the airport with your name on the board, and we know where you're going. So we know everything, and we know where we can tell the police to check for you if anything happens to you. But this guy, he didn't try to contact any of us vloggers. He was watching, YouTube for a while, and he thought, let me wing it, which you can, and which you should not be afraid of doing. And I did it. I came here solo, right? So he did that, and he came, and then the girl that he met online, he decided that she was like not what he thought she was going to be. So once he got here, he started to see other women, and he was like, whoa, there's like so many other women. And he decided that he just didn't want the one woman. So he told her, the agreement was that she was going to stay with him for the 7 days that he was here. But he changed his mind. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. He changed his mind because once he got here, he saw all the beautiful women, and he's like, wait, like, why am I bringing sand to the beach, so to speak? So he told her, he's like, I know I told you can stay for the 7 days, but I kind of just want to spend some time alone and get around on my own. And I just want to see what it's like. And she knew that he just wasn't as interested in her. So she just, she left. And then, he gave her a couple of extra bucks. He didn't realize that she was renting just a little room over here in Los Charamicos. There's a place where you can rent for like $10 a night, even cheaper. And she was renting it with a couple of other girls, and they were all just sleeping in the one bed. And so it was she was keeping an eye on him, and she was following him around as much as she could. And then finally, when she saw him with another woman, she rolled up on him, and she's like, oh, this is the BITCH that you're leaving me for? And the woman was like, wait, no, I'm working right now. She was a prostitute, right? And she's like, wait, I'm working right now. Is this your boyfriend? Is this your man? And the first woman was like, yes, he's my man. I've been talking to him on Tinder for a while, and I was staying in his room with him for a few days. And then the prostitute girl was like, okay, well, you know how this works. Like, And then the guy said to her, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not your boyfriend. I'm not your man. We were speaking on the phone for a while. Thank you for bringing me here and showing me around for the first few days. I paid you pretty good, but I'm pretty much done with you. Is it okay if I WhatsApp you later? Right? And she's like, what? You owe me. And he's like, what? He's like, I could have paid a tour guide to show me around. I paid you way more than I would have paid a tour guide. And then he started to get rude to her, telling her, get away from me, go. And he grabbed the prostitute's arm, and he grabbed the prostitute, and they started to walk up Pedro Clasante, which is the main road, and it was busy at this time. And then the first girl goes up to him, she starts pulling him by his shirt, and she starts kicking him in his leg, and then she pulled the prostitute by her hair, pulled out all her wig off, and it just turned into like this horrible stuff. And the police rolled up, because the police are always right there on Pedro Clasante at nighttime when something's going down. So again, if you're a solo traveler here, just know that the police are there, lickety split, right there. You don't even have time to say boo or blink. So anyway, the police, they pulled up, and they're like, yo, like, what's up? Like, what's happening? And they took the guy to jail. And they didn't take the prostitute, but they took the first girl and the guy, both of them, to jail. The guy had to pay some money to get out because he did not want to go to the courts. And that's what happens here. Feminism is an important thing. Femicide, not feminism, sorry, femicide. Okay, women are here and also in Mexico. If you kill a woman, you are in trouble. It is major, major jail time. 100% Mexico and here. Right now, there's a case going on in Mexico with a woman by the name of Shanquila Robinson. I think she was 26 years old. She was from America. She went to Los Cabos in Mexico with her other 6 friends, and she got into a fight with a couple of her friends, and she didn't end up going back to America when she did, but she went in a box, died. And they said that her neck was broke, and there's a couple of videos circulating on the internet. And those same her American friends, the 6 of them, they're called the Cabo 6 or something. They are all going to be extradited to Mexico to serve charges in Mexico. And the charge is femicide. That's what it's called when a woman is killed here and also Mexico, femicide. So it's taken very seriously here. And men, it doesn't matter if they're foreigners, and it doesn't matter if they are like expats here, which is still a foreigner, but a local here. Okay, doesn't matter who you are. If you are a man, you are going to get less of a chance to say your story. You better not hit a woman. You better not grab a woman. You better just block yourself and run. Do not even say you were defending yourself, because that is going to be a problem. Okay, block yourself and run. If she spits on you, if she stabs you, if she punches you, you hightail it out of there. And never ever be like, even if you grab her to get her away from you, make sure that you grab her by her wrists only. Don't be grabbing her by her hair, by her neck, by her arm. If anything, out and away so she can't get you. Learn some self-defense techniques where you can just veer off her arm or whatever, because if you hurt a woman emotionally, you can become a target. And this is what he had to pay to get out of jail, because he wanted to enjoy the rest of his vacation, and he had an option: go into jail, like the jail cell itself. And any jail cell here, you're not going to get food. They're not going to give you water. You have to know someone and call someone, because someone has to bring you food and water. You will starve. There's nowhere to sleep. There's no bed. There's nowhere to poo or pee. You're going to pee or poo in the hole that is in the ground, and you're going to be standing up sleeping. Okay, that's how the jail cells are for the men. And not only that, you're going to get shipped off to Puerto Plata, and you'll see the Fiscalia, the courts there. And if you don't have a translator, if you don't have someone to tell you anything, then you're going to be in problems, and you're going to pay a lot of money for a lawyer. They will get a lawyer for you. They'll find a lawyer for you that speaks English, but then you're just in the mercy of everyone else because of one decision that you made and the people that you had around you that you really should not have had around you. So be very careful as a male solo traveler coming here. You want to make sure that you're kind to people and honest to people. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. That's what gets a lot of men in trouble. Promises. Don't promise. If you know you're coming here for 7 days and you've never been here before, and you've been talking to the same woman on Tinder for months and you feel like you love her, but then you see her in person and you already promised her that she's going to be staying at your place with you for 7 days. She's looking forward to that, so don't overpromise. Just tell her, yeah, come stay at my house for a day. And then when she has to leave the next day, chances are you can say to her, if you really do like her, hey, stay another few days. I really liked our company last night. And you are under promising at that point and over delivering. And then you get a heck of a lot more respect. And this is a gem of information that you should really hold close and dearly to your heart and in your pocket, because people are like that all around the world, not just here. But here, because it is a developing country and women do, look for men to take care of them in that regard, she may take it a lot more personally. So that guy, going back to his story, he went right here to Sosua when the police station was here in Sosua, and he was taken to the police station and he paid his way out that night. He didn't want to wait the next day to go to Puerto Plata and be shipped off with everyone else. He didn't even want to go into the jail cell. He looked at the jail cell and he looked at the officers and he's like, well, how much money does it cost to just get out of this, right? And he paid a couple of $100 and he left. There are some people that pay nothing. You don't have to pay all the time. Sometimes, you don't have to pay anything at all. You tell your story. You didn't even touch her, and when you didn't even touch her, then you're pretty good. Like you didn't even touch her. All she came after you. You'll be set free. So always use your mind. Make sure you are around people that you can trust. Make sure that you are just careful. There is another guy that came, solo traveler, first time ever here, watched a lot of us vloggers. Oh, by the way, that guy, he messaged me when he was in jail, right? And I sent someone there for him to sit and talk with him and everything. Again, if you know people and you network and you're like, let me use my phone to contact someone and someone's going for you, they don't know who that person is, I will send a police officer to you, right? If you contact me and you're at the police station, I'm sending a police officer to you. That's who I'm contacting. And if the police officer cannot respond at that time, I'm sending a lawyer to you. Okay, or someone else that can go and speak on your behalf, to be able, like an advocate that will be able to speak Spanish for you and help you. So, yeah, I was going to tell a story about another guy. I forgot now, but yes, guys are always the target here. Single guys as well, if they are not doing what is right. There was another guy. He had an apartment on Pedro Closante and wasn't into any of the women, and he would buy them a meal. They'd be walking by, he would sit them down, talk to them, and buy them drinks, right? Because he would just want to ask them questions. Working girls, prostitutes, right? So prostitute walked by one time and he told her, come sit down, because she said to him, hey, do you want anything? And he's like, no, but I'd like to talk to you. Like, come sit down, I want to ask you a few questions. So he thought he could buy her a drink and waste her time. Right? This woman's working right now. Like, you're on vacation, dude. This woman's working. She walked by and she said to you, I'd like to talk to you. Like, do you want anything? You said no, but you said, okay, still come and sit down. Now, at this point, she's thinking, okay, he's just playing shy. He wants to get to know me first. So let me sit down and have a drink with him. And then, they started to flirt back and forth, and he was being flirty with her. He liked her. He thought she was pretty, and, but he's being flirty, but he had no intentions to take her home and pay for her. Right? So now, after another drink, he says, would you like another drink? And she's like, yeah, these drinks are 150 pesos, $3. He's taken a half an hour of her time. She could have went and already had $80 in her pocket or more from a client in that 30 minutes, so she's talking to him. And so finally she says to him, she says, do you want me to go home with you tonight? And he's like, no, I'm not into prostitutes. Like, I'm asking you these questions because I'm curious. I'm wondering how much money you make. Because he was asking her private questions about her job, her, occupational hazards and all that stuff. How much does she get paid? And so she's thinking that he's asking all these prices because he's about to negotiate with her. But here he is, just curious and wants someone to have a couple of drinks with. And then so when she realized that he's not going to pay for her, and he's only going to pay for her 2 drinks that she had, she's like, how dare you waste my time? Now, this is a very common thing. I hear this often. Women will complain about men wasting their time. And some dudes will do that, not even realizing, and they don't mean to do it. They just think that they're getting a good conversation from a prostitute, but meanwhile, they're taking her time, right? And so the woman said, you have to pay me for this time. You can't just buy me 2 drinks and then expect me to spend all my time with you like this. Because a couple of times she did try to leave and he told her, no, sit, please. I'm enjoying this conversation, So When she was getting up to leave, she said, "Give me 1,000 pesos. That's 20 bucks." And he's like, "For what?" And she's like, "You wasted my time." And he's like, "No, I didn't. I didn't waste your time at all." And she's like, "Yes, you did." And so this police officer was walking by, and he's like looking at them. And the police officer looks at the lady. And then the police officer comes over and he says, "Is everything okay? Like, todo bien?" Thankfully, the guy was like, "I don't know. I don't understand Spanish and I don't know what's going on, but she wants me to pay her, I think, for sitting here." Right. And because she spoke English. Initially, she was speaking English. But when the police officer came over, she started to speak Spanish with the police officer. And so this guy, he didn't understand the Spanish. And he's like, "I don't know what to do." And the police officer said, "You were here the whole time? You didn't take her home? You didn't promise her anything?" And he's like, "No, I didn't, not at all." And the police officer said, "Okay." He told the prostitute, go, get out of here, get out of here, you know? So, but that guy, I guess he was fortunate. Imagine, like, if he did try to take her home to talk to her, ask her more questions by the pool, and think that because he's not actually making love to her, that she has that spare time to sit around and talk to him about what her job is and what her occupational hazards are. Right? So there's always something that you have to be very, very mindful of when you are a man. And I'm not saying men get in trouble here. What I'm saying is some men tend to surround themselves with, a lot of younger women that really do want a happier and more fruitful, financially fruitful life. And so they do want to take that extra money from a man. And if they feel that you're too tight pocketed and you're just not giving it, and they're giving so much time to you, then, sometimes sour faces can, start to unfold. But then there's other times where a woman just doesn't mind, especially if she's here in Los Charamicos, where I live, at a colmado, and she's not working. She's not, like what we call in Canada, on the stroll. But she is a working girl, and she's on her downtime, and she's here in Los Charamicos. She's not in Bate, in the tourist area, working. She'll sit down with you and have a few beers, no problem. So if you are a man looking for a woman that's not on the stroll and she just is cool, max, and relaxed, she's not looking for any money, but you want to buy her a beer, then go into the local areas. And be careful there too. If you don't speak Spanish and if you're going alone, you just have to be careful everywhere you go in the world, like I said. But go and enjoy yourself with the locals. And then that way you get to know yourself, some police officers, you get to know some locals that can, love and respect you and appreciate you. But those are just a couple of pieces of advice I have. I noticed that the women that come here solo, they have a completely different experience and they love it. They love it. They can go to the beach on their own. Of course, you're going to get picked up, especially if you're a single woman. Doesn't matter if you are old, if you are young, if you are fat, if you are skinny, if you are short, or if you are tall. It doesn't matter what you look like. Like your breasts could be down to your feet or they could be perked right out. It does not matter. A man will come up to you on the beach and he will try to talk to you. And he will try to talk to you about anything. Just don't talk to him about everything. I was on the beach with my cousin, and there's some of the guys, the beach guys and everything. Well, she's not really my cousin. She's like a family friend. And she was visiting, and we're on the beach, and she's like, I'm celibate. I'm celibate. I haven't had any man for years. She's like in her 50s. And I felt very uncomfortable with her saying that. Like, there's no need for her to tell people what her sexual, activity, what her sexual life is all about. You don't need to do that. And I find that with women, when they do that, it's very pathetic. When women sit around, they're like, they just met a man and they're like, I don't have sex. I haven't had sex for 8 years. Like, that's no one's business. And if you haven't had sex for 8 years, like, keep that to yourself. Well, here she is on the beach and she's talking about it and everything. And of course, these guys are now aroused. And so, they're respecting her. But now they're like, why don't you come out tonight? Like, they're men, right? And they're like, why don't you come out tonight? And so why haven't you had sex? And right away, they're on it. And here she is, like, just flashing it all out there. Ladies, when you come and you're sitting on the beach, don't talk about sex to any stranger. You know, like have some self respect. Now, if you're around other women and the topic of sex comes up and you want to share when the last time you had sex was or whatever, then go ahead. It's up to you. You're around other women and you might feel safe. But if you're a solo traveler and you are on the beach or even just with one other woman, because this family friend of mine was only with me and those guys know me, so they know, back off, like, leave her alone. And she didn't really go on the beach alone, right? So but if you are a woman that does go on the beach alone and you meet one of those sanky panky dudes, sanky panky, that's what we call them here around the world, they call them gigolos. So if you do meet a sanky panky dude, he just really is interested in giving you a good time. He's interested in showing you around, giving you tours. He probably has some time on his hands. Even if he does work on the beach, he can make it work for someone to take over his job for the time that you're here. And the two of you can go and have as much fun as you want. And if you're into that, then that is up to you. I wouldn't say anything. Just make sure you're safe and you go to certain excursions around here and everything of that nature. But if you are a solo woman and you're on the beach and you meet a bunch of dudes, right? Because this was what my family friend was doing. She wasn't just talking to one guy. She was talking to a couple of them. And they were laughing at her, though, by the end of it all. They're like, oh my gosh, because it's not like she, you know, was like, she has a pretty face, but it's not like she has like a sexy body and, flashing it all out or anything like that. But they were laughing at her because here she is in her 50s and she's talking about never having sex for 8 years. And then all of a sudden, it's all she's talking about on the beach is sex and positions and what she used to do. How does that even make sense? So be very careful. Don't be that type of woman, I mean, if you do, again, want to be that type of woman, then expect to make yourself vulnerable and also disrespect it. Because in this culture here, it's not common for a woman to sit on the beach and talk about her favorite sexual positions and talk about when the last time she had sex was and everything. A lot of that is taboo here with the Dominicans. So be very respectful of yourself as a woman. And if you do want to meet a man on the beach, you might like that. You might want a younger man, and that's fine too. But don't talk about your money and don't talk about your sex. Just talk to them about what they do. Question them about how many kids they have. That's what they're going to do to you. They're going to target you immediately once they see that you're new on the beach, and they're going to go right over to you. They're going to sit down with you. They're going to ask you, how are you doing today? Mark my words. This is how it goes. You're sitting on the beach, maybe just come out of the water or whatever, whether you're alone or with one friend, and they'll come over to you and they'll say, how are you doing today? And you say, good. And they'll be like, who you here with? If you're alone, they'll be like, who you here with? Where's your husband? That's one of the first questions. Or do you have a boyfriend? Oh, you don't. Or, oh, you do. Where is your boyfriend? If you're like, oh, my boyfriend's in Canada, they don't care. They'll be like, oh, the boyfriend's not here. So they will move in on you. How are you today? What's your name? Where are you from? Do you have children? Are you married? They will ask you all those questions like it's a list. And I would suggest to you that you don't answer anything. Flip the question around on them. Just be like, oh, I'm here. I'm really enjoying it. What's your name? Get their name. How old are you? Right? They'll tell you how old they are. Do you have children? As they're just so innocent too, right? They're looking for someone to, have a good time with. But they're not crooks, right? So they're not trying to rip you off. So they definitely will give you their name. They'll tell you where they're from. They'll tell you how old they are. They'll tell you how many children they have, and sometimes who they live with. They'll tell you their whole history of their life if you want. And sometimes it's better to do that. Ask someone about themselves first before you divulge all the information about yourself. Always turn the questions back around. It's safe. It's fun. It's enjoyable. You get to know the people. You don't leave feeling vulnerable by sharing so much about yourself and wondering, oh my gosh, why did I just tell everything about myself? Always flip the questions back, okay? You're not at a job interview. You don't need to be put on the spot about asking who you're here with and all that stuff. My battery is about to run out. I know that, whoops, hold on one second. Villa Chesa. Yes, I think it's still there. Off off Alio Martinez, right? Tony Hernandez. If you're on vacation, don't argue about an extra 100 pesos. Tony, I got you on that one, 100%. Dexter, women, you will get a lot of catcalling from the Dominican men and hard stares. You definitely will, Dexter. You're right. And then we have KJ says laugh out loud. And then we have Jonas that says, why? That's why I go and don't get drunk. I don't look for trouble. And if she's not down, then I move on to the next. Hey, Jonas, you got it, brother. 100%. If she's not down, don't beg. All of the women are beautiful and all of them have something else to offer you. And not all of them are going to be boyfriend, girlfriend material. Come here to the Los Chiramicos entrance. Come here to where everyone lives. Girls aren't going to crap in their own backyard here. There's no way that's going to go down here in Charamicos. You come right here to the Colmado over by my house, sit down, have a beer, usually after 6 o'clock, and they play music. And police stroll all up and down the streets because they're usually going down to La Piedra to get the Haitians. So you'll see like trucks of police coming up and down. And, you will meet all types of women here. Anywhere from light-skinned Dominican, light-skinned Haitian to a dark-skinned Dominican, dark-skinned Haitian. And all of them are just here to listen to some music when they're in the Colmado here. Listen to some music and have a little bite to eat and meet people and network. You have to come to the backyards. This is where you're going to be in a position, men. This is where you're going. I'm going to do a separate video on this topic, actually, how men can stay safe in the Dominican Republic and not be vulnerable to the women. They will not crap in their own backyard, like the 10 crack commandments. My phone's going to run out. Jonas says, amen. Jonas says, they are very beautiful. I hate my 4 days go by fast. I barely leave out of Puerto Plata area. Jackson Jeter says, hey, Cerise, what's up? What's up, JJ? I love you, baby. I miss you. So, yes, Jonas, you're right. Excuse me, 4 days goes by so quickly. So if you guys are coming down here as solo travelers, map out your time properly. And again, give the barrios a chance. Go into the different areas. Excuse me, Montellano, Maranata, Bellavista, Sabaneta, Gaspar Hernandez, and they are all just a few minutes away from where I'm at. Excuse me. And you guys can go there and find some women that live right there and they'll cook for you. They're fun. And you know what? They're not as vulnerable and you're not as vulnerable. Okay? That's my spiel for today. Okay? So solo travelers, come here, have fun, don't be afraid, enjoy your life here. But at the same time, if you're a woman, don't make yourself vulnerable. My only concern is I want to rent a car, but I'm afraid I will get hit and they will confiscate my passport. That won't happen. That won't happen because you get insurance. You get full insurance on the car and the insurance company will pay for that. Jonas, don't ever get a car without full insurance. Contact me if you need a rental car. I have a guy, his name's Orlando, and he used to own El Flo on Pedro Clasante. Now he owns across the street from La Mulata. He owns a car wash. He owns a car rental place. They'll pick you up at the airport. If you want to rent a car from the airport, they'll drive you here. When you're leaving, they'll also drive you to the airport, okay? There's some good services, and you don't have to worry about anything getting confiscated because everything is on the owner of the car company, period. Just tell them you want full insurance. Sometimes you get car insurance. Sometimes you just get, like, if you kill someone or something of that nature, insurance. But the car is insured. Okay? And that's what you want to get. Just contact me if you need a car, please, guys. Don't be afraid, because if you want to drive, it will empower you to make you feel even more comfortable while you're here. Okay? I haven't driven a car while I'm here. Well, I've been here. I haven't. Some days I think I want to. I'm a very good driver in Canada. I drive shift stick and everything. Like, I'm really a good driver. I've been here for 4.5 years and I've never driven a car. I've driven a Pasola, but that's like a I guess a scooter, right? And I've done that. But don't be afraid. Let me see. My battery's going to run out. Just want to remind you guys, I will contact you in February. Sounds good. Jackson Jeter. Yeah, Jackson Jeter drives big trucks here in Sosua, like usually SUVs and everything. So I'm actually, first time I ever met JJ, you were in a car, right? So yeah, guys, just don't be afraid. Just be very careful. And if you're looking for a woman that you can have a really good time with without being afraid of being vulnerable, then again, come to her backyard. And don't be afraid of coming into the barrios, especially here in Sosua. The municipal of Sosua has all kinds of different boroughs and barrios, but Sosua is very tourist friendly. Can't really speak too much for Puerto Plata itself. I can't speak for, like Santiago or Santo Domingo, but I can speak for Rio San Juan, Gaspar Hernandez, Sabaneta, Islaban, Veragua, Cabarete, Albate, La Mulata, any of those places that I just named. Slow down the video, write it down, and you guys are safe anywhere. As long as you are you keep your wits about you and you mind your business. And so there we go, guys. Coming here solo. And the Dominican Republic is totally A-okay. Jonah says, okay, Jackson Jeter, I'll take my chance this time. Absolutely, take your chance. Maybe just rent it for one day. And don't go all the way to Puerto Plata the first day. Maybe just rent it for the one day, drive around, go to Cabarete, at least so you can feel the empowerment. And the cars are really cost effective here. You could probably get a car for $35 for the day from my dude, Orlando. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go get finished to all my other projects. And make sure tomorrow you guys listen to Storytime. Every Wednesday and Saturday I bring out Storytime. But tomorrow I'm starting something new. You guys know with the story times I do sometimes in series. I had Diary of a Working Girl. I had Dark Side of a Working Girl. But then I put that to rest for a moment because I don't want to make the girls seem negative. So now I'm just going to go to a new one called Confessions of just People. I don't know if I'm going to call it Confessions of Dominican Women, because they are really good stories that I have about Dominican women, and they're awesome. And some of them, you guys will fall in love with the Dominican women even more once you realize how sweet some of these stories are, and how beautiful some of these stories are. But it's going to be called Confessions, and I'm going to be bringing it out tomorrow on Wednesday. Every Wednesday and Saturday is story time, and most of the stories are right from here in the Dominican Republic. They're either from a Dominican, from a Haitian, or from a foreigner. And then, of course, some stories are from all around the world, but most of the stories are from people who've been here, live here, or never been here and are trying to get here. Somehow, it always wraps right back around to Sosua or the Dominican Republic. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't done already, please go ahead and subscribe. It's a free way to support the channel. And if you like this video, put a thumbs up. Then that way, YouTube will know that you like it, and they will put the video around a lot more. It will get a lot more views. And then, of course, I'll know that it's something that you guys like, so I'll do more of it. All right, I always go based upon what you guys show me. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to everyone. God bless you. Whatever this new year brings to you, please remember there's always going to be challenges. They make you stronger. There's always going to be lessons. They make you smarter. There's always going to be people that are kind to you. Make sure you say thank you. And there's always going to be people that you give to. Don't look for a thank you. Do it from your heart, because you'll always get that karma back, that good karma. I love you guys. Take care. Remember, every Tuesday and Thursday is real estate relocation, travel or tourism. And then also on Wednesdays and Saturdays, it's story time. And I do also a little bit of bits and pieces of other things sometimes. But right now, that is the schedule. Mwah. I love you. Huge hugs, loads of love, big blesses. Be good to yourself out there.